One of the things about the Codyverse that has kind of been codified with American Evil is kind of the state of the world, the general population, the Muggles, the people who are not involved with these crazy over the top anime fights, right? Like what are normal people doing while like people are fighting the Eye of the Dragon or like, trying to avoid getting eaten by a Mars U or like getting into these attending Gray Arcadia or whatever, right? Like what are normal people doing in the Codyverse? And that has been an interesting question that I've been thinking about for a long time because I knew going into this that I didn't want to do a Percy Jackson. Okay, I didn't want to just rip off Harry Potter and do the same thing that J.K. Rowling did with like the magical world that runs parallel to our own. Like I wanted to do something similar, but I really wanted to make it distinct, and I really wanted to like have its own unique themes and like concept, right? Because like J.K. Rowling, like the idea of the magical world is this like secret, elusive place that like just exists in the real world, right? That you can just go there and like be a wizard and have like a great time, like the fantasy of it, the wish fulfillment aspect. And that's not really what I wanted to do, right? Like I kind of wanted to do the inverse of that, right? Where the reality of the situation is grim, where like the stakes are high and like people are dying left and right, that like it's a disaster just waiting to happen, all the time, right? Like every year is like a potential apocalyptic scenario, right? In the Codyverse, right? Like it's all the time, right? Everyone's in danger all the time. And that was the premise from the start, right? But as I mentioned earlier, like how do normal people react to this? How do they treat this, right? And I decided, right? They do absolutely nothing, right? It is common knowledge. It's something people talk about. It is something that is like publicly known. It's like, people know about the monsters, all the crazy stuff that's happening, the end of the world scenarios, the mass genocides, like the cannibalism, the just constant attacks on humanity and other species, like the extinctions, like dinosaurs living underground, like humanity's greatest fears descending from the sky, demons being summoned into this place, witches like taking in young girls and converting them to evil to serve their masters, like all this crazy stuff is going on, and people are just turning a blind eye to it because it doesn't concern them. Oh, it doesn't matter because it doesn't affect me. Essentially what I've done is look at how people react to real world travesties, real world wars, real world issues, right? Real things that are happening right now, and kind of just applied it to this universe, right? Where people are apathetic to everything as long as it doesn't affect them. Right? That is the concept behind it. That is the reality of the Codyverse is that like the vast majority of the people do nothing to fix any of the problems. They're useless, right? They are complacent to just sit at home and just eat. They are the definition of the useless eaters, right? Like, and that has led me to kind of classify these people like the general population of the Codyverse. This is a term which is used, but I do think it is going to be like the catch-all term for the general population going forward. The cattle, right? Taking influences from Resident Evil 4's Ganados, right? The cattle just sit around and do nothing. They are perfectly happy to allow the world to like decay and become like just become a mess as long as they're fat and happy, right? They are the very definition of cattle. I think it's a very interesting direction to take with the series, with the Codyverse, especially since one of the reoccurring themes of the Codyverse, especially this novel, American Evil, is normal people like rising above like the cattle status, like actually earning the respect of like higher beings and kind of establishing, proving that people can like break free of like humanity's self-imposed like serfdom, right? Into like being something more and something fantastic, something that is like beyond anything else the verse has to offer, right? That's been a theme of the Codyverse since the very beginning. But I think American Evil kind of emphasizes that theme very, very much, more so than I think anything else I've ever worked on. I really do think that American Evil is shaping up to be the best book I've written so far. I'm very happy about it. I've been like hard at work at it. I think this weekend, which is starting now, that I will have cracked like 90,000 words on it. I'm not quite sure how long it's gonna be. Like I'm sure it'll be finished by my deadline of October 1st, 2024. So like I'm preparing to I'm preparing to finish the novel. I'm well on my way. I definitely do have an idea of like where things are going to go from here. Like I have a clear trail map to the end. It's going to be interesting seeing how this novel develops and how people receive it because I am just very very pleased with this. I'm always trying to think about like what aspects of it I can talk about, what I can reveal, and like there's a lot of stuff I don't really want to talk about yet because like they're just vague ideas that haven't like been concluded in the book itself yet, right? And like, it's like, do I want to give a things away? Are things gonna change? Am I gonna come up with new ideas? Because I'm coming out with new ideas all the time, right? So it's been very difficult to kind of to talk about this product, to talk about the project without like giving too much away or like, talking too much about things characters that you don't know anything about. Like right now, I've been talking about Soleil a lot because like she's a character that you're familiar with, and like I've talked a little bit about like the characters that are introduced like early on that are like the driving force of the novel. But like there's there's a lot more to be done when it comes to like working on the novel, right? Like I can confirm like it is going to be done by next year, like 100%, like by October 1st next year. It's well on its way to being finished. I'm very, very excited to share it with you all. Um, and I'll be trying to keep you updated with regular videos soon. I'm gonna keep trying to produce more of these to try and keep things keep things going to try and like let people know that this book is coming out and like just how excited I am for it. Like there's just so much to talk about, right? Like don't let my silence like fool you into thinking that like there's nothing to talking about with American Evil because nothing could be further from the truth.